Welcome to Mike for Men with your host, Mike Huey. Mike shares real talks for real men who want to make a real impact. Men who accomplish great things do so because they think differently than everyone else. In today's episode, Mike shares ways to help you think bigger. And now, your host, Mike Huey.
In today's talk on thinking bigger, you're going to learn some stuff that's going to be really helpful for you. In fact, if you would apply a lot of these, you're going to become a better negotiator. And when you're negotiating with your boss, your girlfriend, other people, a lot of times when people negotiate, they think, well, if I give him something, that means I'm going to lose something. But big thinkers think, how can I make the whole thing a larger pie instead of having to divvy up what we have? And how can I make both win? That's how big thinkers work. Big thinkers achieve more in less time, have a life of abundance. They're moving things. They're constantly thinking, how can I make things better? How can I make this smoother? You're going to inspire others. I'm telling you, others want to follow people that think big and are emotionally charged because they see that future while the rest of the people are working in the mine pits, right? So think big. You're also going to become a better person. One of my quotes that I love from Jim Rohn, he once said, try or strive or think or have plans to become a millionaire, not for the $1 million you're going to make, but because of the person you'd have to become to be able to earn that, make that, hold that, invest that. And so I'm telling you, when you think big, it changes who you are. So here's a couple steps on thinking bigger. The first is to actually allocate time for thinking and allocate time for thinking bigger. Spend time once a week, maybe on a Saturday morning or wherever you can. That's a lot of times my personal think time is, but have some time where you're just away from it all. You're taking a walk or you're out in nature or wherever you are, and take a project that you're working on, looking at, and just think about it. Think about how you could make it better. Think about how you could optimize it. Think about how you could make it bigger. Maybe think about how you could take the task and make it smaller, right? But just have time for thinking. In the society we're in today, we are so inundated with social media alarms, and people can't put their phones down, and we're getting dinged constantly from emails, and we're getting dinged constantly from social media alerts, that we're not having actual time to decompress and think. So I want to encourage you, schedule that. Put the phone away during that time. Take paper and pen out so you're not tempted to surf the internet on your tablet. Or if you are going to bring a tablet and you're going to think on that, make sure you're not looking at any kind of web browser so that you can just spend time thinking. Second thing that you can do to think big is to find a big thinking friend, right? We are a tribal people, a species that really likes to hang out with stuff. And if you're hanging out with people who think small, it's really going to be hard for you to think big. It's like you're trying to fly and somebody's holding onto your legs, holding you down when you want to go to the next level. And so I want to encourage you, if you're in those kind of relationships, find other people that think big. Find people that have what you want to have. Find people who are doing what you want to do, or have goals and aspirations similar to yours. And you'll find that you're able to learn how to. One person comes up with an idea. It's a good idea. It's a great, it's stretching, but the other person can say, man, here's how you could make that great. And you feed on each other, and the two becomes much more than the individuals. If you can't find a friend, if you can't find a person, like a real person that you can go out to coffee with, then I want to encourage you to find some virtual friends. And I don't mean online. I mean like writers and speakers. Start looking for books that help you think bigger, books that help you think bigger about the projects or the tasks that you're facing. Look for speakers, look for online courses. Someone has done what you've done before. And so one of the things that I think is so fascinating that's helped me think bigger is constantly be reading biographies of people who have done great things, people who did things that nobody thought could be done, whether it's scientific accomplishments, or it's Genghis Khan going across Asia as fast as he did, or it's political stuff, or it's business things. People that have, there's a lot of people out there that have done great things over, and you'll see the trend. Man, they just did not stop. They didn't give up. They were constantly going no matter what kind of obstacles were placed in front of them. So I want to encourage you to do that. If you can't find somebody real, you can't find a book or a writer on your topic, you can't find somebody who's actually done specifically what you're looking for, then at least find somebody who's done something like where you're going, right? Something like it, because they are more likely to see what you're trying to do and encourage you in that than people who don't think big and they work in their own areas. Another aspect of thinking big is to look at or work on specific goals and outcomes. What does an A look like? You know, when you go to school and you're thinking, man, I need to get an A on this exam. Well, what's that look like? You know, what are the questions that are going to be coming up? So a lot of times we do that in our consulting work. What does an A look like? And we ask our customers that. Question for you is, if this project was like awesome and you were to give yourself a grade, an A plus, what would you have had to do? What would you have had to experience? What is it you would have to have had or owned or done to be able to say, man, that was like a grade A awesome job? So to review, so far we've had actually allocating time to think big. Secondly, we found somebody else who thinks big, whether it's a real person or whether it's a book or whether it's an online course or whether it's reading of big thinkers that have long passed with biographies. Also, the third thing is we've looked at creating or sitting down and thinking about specific goals or outcomes. What would absolute awesome look like? Okay, what would awesome look like? The next thing is to start with just the first steps. Just the first steps, because you're at where you're at because of the thought processes in your past. Now, granted, there may have been some abuse or some things that have impacted you, but how you've responded is up to you. And most of what you're experiencing now is a result of your thought patterns in the past. So in order to go to this next level, you have to change your thinking. And some of those thoughts that you have to change are unknown to you. So the key is not to plan out everything in detail to think big. It's think big. And now what are my first steps to get started? Because once I get started, I'm going to notice, oh, I need to change this. I need to grow this. My mind is changing. My education is growing. And you're going to learn the new things that you have to do or learn as you get going. So again, one of the things, my quotes that I like a lot is I tell people, you know, it's a lot easier to get a car to turn while it's moving than it is to turn when it's still. So the key is get motion moving, get it moving, and then you can adjust and turn as you get going. Another thing is, as you're growing, you're going to find that you're thinking about this and you see something in nature or you see another industry or you see some, and it's a connecting idea. It's a connecting idea that you can add to yours, and it catapults your new idea off to a new level in a new direction. Nobody else has done that. That's typically what people think of as big thinkers is, well, nobody's ever done that. Well, you're the one that's connected this idea because you got moving. So in order to do that, I want to encourage you, start collecting ideas. Start, whether it's a journal, whether it's a paper or an online folder, but start collecting ideas. I encourage you to have both a virtual and a physical filing system, because there are things that you'll just notice. Something comes to you in the mail, or you're at a place and somebody hands you a sheet of paper and you see a picture and you think, wow, that's great. Either digitalize it or do something, but have that kind of stuff. Conversely, you might be on Pinterest, or you're looking at Instagram, or you're looking at some of these other places and you see pictures of things and you think, man, that's awesome. So have a sorting system to be able to do that. The next idea on thinking big is to really start each day and choose one task that you have for that day, or take one appointment that you've got on your schedule for that day and slow down and just think for 5 minutes. how could I make this appointment awesome? How could I make this task go to the next level? How can I think bigger about this one thing? Just even slowing down and doing that one time a day starts a habit. There's another talk we had earlier on habit creation. I want to encourage you to go look at that if you need. But how can you create a habit of saying one thing I'm going to take to the next level? Also, the thing that shows up frequently with people is they have these beliefs and ideas and things that come up that just says, I can't do this. I try and I just can't do it. I want to encourage you, have a declaration. You've probably heard me talk about that in other sessions. Have a declaration and watch your self-talk. Have declarations say, I do think big. I am a creative thinker. I connect ideas that really help people. I start a business. I do this. I do whatever that positive thing is you're going after. Make a declaration about it. Say it every day. Say it with emotion every day, and help it combat that negative thought that you're a small thinker. You'll never change. Things are always going to be the same. I want to encourage you, have that declaration. Next thing that I want to share with you with big thinking is the idea that if you're accomplishing 100% of your goals are too small. Your goals are too small. If you're really stretching yourself, you're probably only accomplishing 50, 60, 65% of your goals. 65% is a great target to reach, telling you that if I can only hit 65% of my goals, that means I'm really stretching and I'm going past some things that either can't be accomplished in the time frame I thought, or they can't be accomplished the way I thought, but I'm really stretching. So get out of the I got all my goals accomplished. That means you're thinking small. You're taking too easy of jobs to go after. So don't pick things that are easy. Big thinkers go after things that are big obstacles, and it takes them longer than they think sometimes, or they revise what they think over time. So break your items, break your things. We talked about just getting simple steps started. Break it down into actionable steps. Focus on what you're doing. Focus on spending time to think about it. Have a daily habit. What can I do today to take that task or that appointment I've got to the next level? And when I'm doing my goals and all my aspirations, again, don't beat yourself up if you don't accomplish all 100%. The goal is 65.
Thank you for listening to Mike for Men. If you enjoyed listening to this in a podcast, please subscribe and give us a review. If you are watching this video, please subscribe and click the bell below so you will know when the next episode comes out. If there is a topic you would like Mike or his guests to address, please write them in the comments section below. Again, thank you for listening.